In this lesson, I want to teach you the importance of branding. I think branding is one of the most important things you can do for your business. I see a lot of people get creative with these names and overcomplicate these things. And the names they come up with can be really ridiculous. And, it's not no fault of their own. They just haven't been taught the proper branding. I see a lot of courses out there and they never teach anything about branding. So I want to make sure that you get this down pat so you can come up with a good company name. If you look at my screen, I have a lot of examples here. This is just a handful of thousands of the biggest companies in the world, and they all have the same thing in common when it comes to branding. If you look at all of these, you'll see that they all have one name, two names at the most. We have big companies here that are recognizable like Hulu, Visa, Nokia, Citi. You got Shell and Chevron, which are oil companies, FedEx, Adidas, Dell, Pepsi, L'Oreal, Google, usual. They all have one thing in common, and it's perfect branding. They're all one or two names at the most. It's really important for you to make sure that when you come up with your company name, that it's short and easy to remember. We don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We want to follow the blueprint that's already been laid out. These companies don't have these one word company names by mistake. If one thing is working, why reinvent the wheel? Just go ahead and follow that blueprint. Now, another thing I want to point out is that none of these companies have the service or the product that they sell in the company name. So take Hulu, for example. Hulu, I think, may be a Hawaiian word. I'm not sure. I remember hula hoop. That's the only time I've really heard it. But it's not a hula hoop. It's a streaming company. Same with Nokia. Nokia may be a Japanese word, but, I don't know. But we know that it's a cell phone company, a tech company. Same with Samsung. You have Visa and Citi, they're credit card companies. They don't have credit cards in the name. They do banking also. You have Shell and Chevron. They're oil companies. They don't have oil in the company name. Take Dell, for example. I'm pretty sure that's a word. I've heard it, in that Farmer to Dell song, but I don't know exactly what a Dell is. But I guarantee you they don't sell Dells. They sell computers and monitors and stuff like that. They're another tech company. Same like Apple. Apple don't sell apples. They have Apple in the name, but they don't sell apples. The brand is just so good. They sell phones, they sell tablets, computers, Macs. Pepsi, for example, Pepsi is a 5-letter word, which is good. The shorter you can get it, the better. And nobody knows what a Pepsi is. It's a made up word, but everybody knows it's synonymous with a cold, refreshing drink. The branding is just so good, and Tampax is a tampon that women use. HP, if you wanted to use the name, it's better to use the acronyms, the letters. HP is short for Hewlett Packard. Those, I think, are two last names. You have Audi, a 4-letter word, which is amazing. It doesn't have car company in there, but everybody knows it's a car. Audi and Volvo are European cars. So the branding just works. So now, when it comes to two names, what I like to do is put two names together, just work with it, take your time with this and come up with something good. Like FedEx, for example, is two words, two short words. The same with Netflix. Netflix is a perfect example. Net is a short word for internet, and Flix is another word for movies. And that's exactly what they do. They're a streaming company. And, they got lucky with that name, but it's just perfect branding for them. So if you're going to come up with two names, try to take two words and try to mesh them together, like Walmart. Mart is short for, market, and then they have wall there. So, it's just two words put together like FedEx. Let me see if I can find another one. AstraZeneca, I think that's two last names. If you have a last name that's easy to remember, then you can use that because we're going to use this for our business email and for our website. And if brokers don't know how to spell it, they're not going to look you up. They're not going to email you because once you start booking loads, brokers are going to take your domain name, your company name, and look it up. And they're going to call you looking for empty trucks. So when you come up with these names, make sure they're easy to remember and make sure they're easy to spell. People get too creative with this and they'll have 4 or 5-letter words. And like I said, you don't have to have the service you offer. So if you come up with your company name, you don't have to put logistics in it. You don't have to put trucking in it. You don't have to put dispatching, or any of that stuff in there. Just come up with something that's short and easy to remember, and that's going to take you a long way. You don't have to have any of those words in there. Anything that's trucking related, you don't have to have it. And these companies right here, it's a perfect example. They laid out the groundwork on how to come up with good branding. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to have none of that stuff in there. All of these companies, they're worth trillions of dollars collectively, and they have one word, two words at the most at their name. And the vast majority of them have one name words. Some of them are made up. You don't even have to come up with a company name that's an actual word. You can come up with, you can make up your own name and just put a couple vowels in the name. So that way you can say it and it makes sense and it's easy to spell. Like I said, Pepsi is a made up word. Google is a made up word. It might be a word now after all these years, but Google is a search engine. If you need to go find a gas station near you, you're going to go to Google, you're going to type in a gas station near me. You're not going to say, well, let me look on the search engine. The word Google, a made up word, has replaced the word search engine. I mean, the brand is just amazing. You tell somebody they need some information, you say, just Google it. It's short, easy to remember. People are like, yeah, that's how branding works, man. Make it short, make sure that it's easy to remember, two words at the most, and don't put the word logistics. I mean, if you can get away with logistics, let's say you have a short last name that's easy to remember, then maybe you can, use that last name and then put logistics behind it. That's two words that'll make it easy to remember. But if you have a long last name that's hard to spell, like Kameninski or something like that, most people are not going to be able to spell. Just, make up your own word. Or what I like to do is take two words, break them in half, and then put them together and sound out. All my companies, they have one or two word names, and they're all short. My dispatch company is only 6 letters, and my content company is another 7 letters. So keep them short and easy to remember. It's going to take you a long way. It's going to put you above the rest, when it comes to branding. I think it's important. Again, I think it's really important. So take a couple of days and, take it serious. Write down a whole bunch of names. Do it with your kids, your wife, your husband, your family, your friends, whatever. Just come up with a name. And then, once you've written down a lot of names, then go over and eliminate one by one. And like I said, make it short, easy to remember, and you do not have to include any trucking term into it. Okay? So I'll see you in the next lesson.